Hello, my name is Anne-Marie McNamara, and I am going to be publishing a book in a week or so through Amazon. The name of the book is Earth Whisperer, the White Woman from Tacoma, only it was originally White Chick, but I changed it. This is the cover. At least that's the intention. We'll see it. It's not up on the board yet. We'll see what happens. Now, what I thought I would do is read a story. So, the story that I've chosen, I do a couple things. I'm an earth whisperer. I work with the earth a lot, hence the title. And I also work with people with considering some of their fears. So the story that just opened, since I'm intuitive, we'll do that one, is called Fear of Flying. Fear of flying is not that uncommon. I have worked with 2 clients with this fear. Their fear looks the same to the outside world. They exhibit some of the same symptoms of anxiety, shortness of breath, tightening of the chest, eyes filled with what if, used avoidance, meaning they fly as little as possible, or medicate themselves. But the inside world was very different. The first client, Jamie, grew up with this fear. The most remarkable part of this story is that she's from a different country and has lived in multiple cities in Europe, Africa, and now in the United States. Many of us are not that adventurous, and surely she knew flying was a part of the equation of a geographic change. Yet her adventurous spirit was more vital and alive than her fear. She came to me as a middle-aged woman and wanted some relief. We co-created a session together. She did have some fear of flying in her DNA memories. Earlier, before planes were common in the sky, even, which is kind of interesting. You don't think of people being a fear of flying before there's planes, but there you go. It is possible that her ancestors heard the words from their parents, "People do not fly." This belief was challenged by seeing planes in the air during World War I. The startling idea that people can fly with the right machine. What a concept. On the flip side, the fear belief was also strengthened by neighborhood chit-chats. As a young girl growing up, of hearing plane crashings and pilots either dying or being hurt. Some of the stories were told with extra drama for the myth story. Another factor was also present. As a young child, she was often with a dearly beloved aunt. This aunt was an amazing woman, but had anxiety issues around flying. She bubbled over with this excitement and anxiety. My client is an empath. Empaths are people that have the ability to pick up people's energy. I do believe all of us have this ability. And here is an example. Have you ever listened to someone's tale of woe and afterward felt completely drained, tired, and had a mood change? The person telling the tale of woe mentions how much better they feel, so much lighter. They thank you and off they go. Meantime, your happy, joyous state is now compromised and you need a nap, a beer, or a walk run. If you have, chances are you are an empath. Just like so many talent, some empaths have more abilities than others. My client loved her aunt so much that she felt all her fears about flying. She knew she could help her and absorbed her aunt's heavy emotions. The good news is her aunt lived her life less anxious. The bad news is my client made the decision to help when she was 3 years old. Three years old, you do not have abstract mental reasoning to figure out the long-term effects of absorbing someone else's energy. Hence, She had a fear of flying herself. Many children are concrete thinkers with open hearts. They live in the now. If you notice a change in your child's behavior when they are around certain people, make sure you add a cup of Epsom salts to their bathwater. This helps clear the daily energy of others. Oh, and it helps adults to clear their energy field too. Adults can use more, say 2 cups of Epsom salts. Another alternative method is baking soda in the tub. Of course, my favorite way is to swim in warm salt water. It never happens enough in my life. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and I am content to mostly wade in our lovely seawater. I want to tell you a bit about myself, and that's another story in the beginning. And that is, one day, I grew up in a very conservative family. We did not believe in paranormal behavior. We were Christian. And although my grandmother did, and she went to church, but it was the work of the devil, and that was the end of it. So, what happened for me is, I call it in the book the LifeChanging Event. It was on November 11th, 1985, that my life changed. At that time, I was a single mom with an amazing teenager. My job was a juvenile probation counselor in King County Youth Services. I was a felon intake worker for our unit and mostly worked with assault cases. My job was to interview the youth and their families, read the police reports, gather information to write a report, and a recommendation to the court. Most people commented how interesting my job must be. Years later, I can appreciate why they said that, but daily reading of police reports takes its toll on one's mind. My friend Kathy and I were treating ourselves to a latte and a chocolate chip cookie at the B&O Cafe. It was a holiday, and we were vacationing for a couple hours. We had become acquainted through my son and her children's daycare. We were both single moms, divorced, raising our families, and attending the University of Washington. Later, we both had demanding careers. We took vacations whenever we could. I had just finished talking about my son, and Kathy was talking about one of her sons. As I listened, I felt a vibrational current enter the top of my head and go through my body. This current traveled down both hands and into the glass coffee mug. The cup shattered into teeny pieces. The contents were 1/3 full of a lukewarm latte. My favorite gray corduroy pants were drenched in light brown liquid. When I looked at my hands, and I expected to see blood. So much glass. I was so shocked to see there was no cuts in my hands. As I looked down at the mess, I remembered once the Memorex commercial about how the sound was so good in the tapes that a quality singer could hit a high note and shatter the glass. And this is what the commercial did. Opera singer hits a high note, boom, glass pops. Kathy and I sat there stunned. What just happened? One of the owners of the coffee shop ran over and apologized profusely. He insisted on making me another latte. Of course I accepted. After all, a gal can't refuse a free latte. I am from Seattle. I laughed when I saw my replacement latte brought to me in a styrofoam cup. The owner was not taking any chances. He had already lost one glass cup. So that's a bit about 2 stories in the book. And I'm hoping to share more later. Tomorrow I'm going to be on Facebook Live for my first Facebook Live, and I'm hoping you can join me. It's going to be at 11 o'clock, because I like 11, as you can see, in Pacific Northwest time. So, hope to see you there. Take care. Bye.